like do 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 like do 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 crazy oh 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 crazy oh 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 crazy crazy oh oh crazy oh 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 crazy do 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 crazy do 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 crazy do 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 crazy do 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 crazy crazy do do like do 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 like do 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 crazy oh do do like do 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 like do 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 crazy
Hello everyone, and welcome to week 1 of the Titan Vanquisher League. My name is Tokibi, and joining me is Satyr. And how are you doing this fine evening, or I guess morning for you, Satyr?
Early morning, Toki. It's good to be here with you. It's been a long time since we've had a chat. Back to the GHG days. The best days. We'll say the best days, but yeah, very excited. Week 1, I've been catching up with all the casters and seeing how everyone's feeling about it. There's been some new teams, new names, new faces. Some churches have been built, or so I've seen. Some churches have been built. That was a surprise for me, but we're here for reigning champions and Flash Syndicates, who fell in the semi-finals of last year's Vanquisher. So a very, very hype game just to start one. I think this is the best place to start, though. You see the leading favorites and you see one of the top 4 teams from last year, and you go, you know what, these guys should know what they're doing and should be able to draft. But Toki, you're a little bit of a draft master. I've seen what you've done before. I've seen some of your ideas before. What do you want to see coming into this new meta, this new season, this new Spirit Blossom era?
So I think one big thing right now is HP tanks with solid engage, because right now there aren't really good items to deal with tanks anymore, especially the ones that just kind of stack health, like something like the Mundo, Sejuani's, Skarner. There's nothing through Marksman that can really deal with it super well, and all the AP items that used to be the go-tos did get nerfed recently. So I think that could be a solid opportunity. And then there is also Senna and Smolder. They did get buffed, but
Don't
still...
make me talk about this. No. We're not talking about Senna and Smolder. I'm so fed up of it. Like,
I am
that's
such
all I
a
play
Senna
now.
enjoyer, though. I am such a Senna enjoyer. I've been loving it. I love playing Senna ADC, but you will like what I have next to say, though. I don't think it's that good in a lot of competitive scenarios, because it just takes way too long to get online. So if you're not able to get that early on, could be difficult.
I'm a little bit of a different idea, because I recently signed up for fun tournament with some friends, and then I found out that it wasn't with my friends. It's that everyone gets drafted to different teams through an auction. So I got placed on a team, and I'm playing ADC in this, and I usually play support. And I literally went into the chat after I got drafted and said, right, I'm playing weak side, I'm playing Senna, I'm playing Smolder, I'm playing Ezreal, and I'm playing Seraphine. Don't come near me, jungler. Play for everyone else, because that's the style you can go for. And in a Smolder and a Senna meta, you can play weak side. You can just be there, and eventually you'll be useful. A couple of ults from Senna, you can change a team fight or get a kill. Smolder gets a 2-2-5. Suddenly you have this free Elder Drake, and you never have to worry about anything. So although I hate it, if you play to it, it could work. But the other thing about you said about HP tanks, there is one ADC that can deal with it. And that's Varus in the meta currently. That's the only one I can think of. So I just think, because of all the strengths in that top side, ADC's kind of killed a little bit, and now it's up to jungle top side every time. So Sejuani, Mundo, 2 of the best picks I'd say right now in that category. But when it comes to Vanquisher, there's always something that doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah, there's always going to be something that's just a little bit out there, something that is unique to each of these teams. And we are in draft for game number 1, and immediately going to be getting those bans going over towards that top side with the Ambessa, and then the Nico band as well for Flash Syndicates.
Yeah, Nico's been one of those champions that has crept into the support pool, as if you want to play safety, she can harass for you. If you need something that can protect you, she can protect you. If you need an engage, she can engage. Nico kind of is the new Thresh in a way, where she kind of ticks a lot more boxes than other supports would. So taking it out of the pool does eliminate a lot of that flexibility in that role. But we're also going to see one of the other favorited supports at the moment in terms of flexibility and roaming, which is the Bards. So both teams are saying supports aren't going to get to have fun. Back to Nautilus, back to tanks, no more fun for yous. But Azir taken away, Volibear, Nefiri still being banned. I don't get the love behind this champion anymore. Just play Poppy and it's done. It's cooked. There's nothing you can do. Poppy beats dogs.
Yeah, but Nefiri definitely is still really popular, and I'm wondering if part of that is just that recency bias. It's been in the meta for so long, and teams just need a little bit more time to be able to adapt to the fact that it's not as strong as it was. It's no longer that pick ban, at least in my opinion. I think there are some games where it can be useful, but definitely not first phase. But like you were saying, that VAR is going to get locked in immediately, and that does change a lot for the draft, as Flash Syndicate's going to have to worry a bit more about that now.
Yeah, this would be the point where I would start drafting into the likes of long-range ADCs. Jin's the perfect one. Someone that can stay away from the Varus and still get the damage off. And all in. I don't want to see HP. I don't want you to play into Varus's books. I would rather force him onto lethality and have to play that more. I have damage windows, not on hit Varus. So just make them play a different way than they would originally intend to. So taking the Trundle as well gets rid of tank stats. Always good. I don't like a blind Syndra though. I just think it opens up too much in that mid lane, as Syndra is quite immobile. And if you pick something like a Jhin into a Syndra, Syndra is going to get targeted a little bit, so you can go for something that can do a lot of damage. Go for a Hui. I don't mind this from Flash Syndicates, but this top side with the Trundle flex, because it could be moved around a little bit. What are you going to pinch from the top side? Cassante might need to be taken away. Sion might need to be taken away. Gnar is quite popular right now. I'm a bit of a Gnar connoisseur, as they would say. I do like to rage out a little bit in that top side, but what would you like to see about a support focus? I'm surprised by that.
Well, I think the idea is, like you said, there is going to be a lot of power from this Varus. This Jhin gonna have pretty good protection just from the Jhin Zhao on its own, and everyone on TMG, like none of them are really good at getting onto the back line. Jhin is incredibly long range, so maybe they want to make sure that the lane is bad. They can't get super ahead on the Jhin, and at the same time, getting rid of Rakan, it does get rid of a lot of roam opportunities. And with the aggression that they're picking in the top side, I think that's probably a good call from TMG. I mean, Renekton with Jhin in the top side, that is very scary as a duo pairing.
Yeah, it's better than Italy Renekton. I don't care what anyone has to say. This is the top side I always dream of when I'm drafting in a first game. You just take this dominance. It's just a perfect little setup. Jhin and Renekton, they work so well. It's just that Cull the Meek straight into the wind becomes lightning. And Mordekaiser's good at stopping that because he can just pull you straight out of that. But regardless, I think that's a great setup. I can't wait to see what they're going to be able to do with that, with this kind of top jungle. But on the other side, they still have that support, and it's a great engage. It's some good circles in there. There's a lot of circles going on. I like it.
Yeah, and I really like Rel here. It completely rounds out their draft. I was going to say they don't really have a consistent engage outside of maybe getting a pickoff, but Rel definitely finishes off their draft, and there's a lot of shields on the side of TMG, at least from the front line. Mordekaiser and Nautilus, both very shield heavy tanks. Rel and Renekton both can deal with that quite easily. They both have natural ways of just removing it entirely. So I think these are an absolutely fantastic final two picks for Flash Syndicate.
Yeah, they kind of got a little bit lucky there in the end with the Renekton Rel, and they're kind of like, they're just perfect champions sitting there, and a little bit of thought process might have helped them out in the draft there, TMG. But TMG are one of those teams that no matter what goes on in draft, someone seems to just dominate a lane or a section of the game, where it's just like, okay, well, this looks like kind of an even fight, and then it's like, oh my god, a triple kill. Like out of nowhere, and it just takes over the game. And TMG are quite good at taking a moment and building a game from it. Like the game could go either way, but if they get that one moment, it's kind of like G2 in 2019 or Fnatic in 2018. It's this one, you can literally pinpoint where the entire game shifted, and TMG are kind of one of those teams. They kind of know where to go with this. So although you're looking at this and going, oh well, this might be a little bit risky here, and they have good shields, they have good range, and they have good all-in with the Jhin Zhao and the Renekton, there's someone on that team, and I know there is, that's just going to go, I don't care, and then kill everything in sight. So I'm going to say yes, I think Flash is going to have a much better draft. I think you're dead right there, but you can't count out TMG. You just can't. I tried all last year. I tried to give Revnon and the boys all the belief I could. I even came in off of my own broadcast to the next broadcast to give them some hope. They got to game 5, but TMG, there's something about them, Toki, and I'm so excited that you get to see them for the first time here.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited too. I mean, I'll put this out in the open. When I looked over at these rosters without having any information at all, I didn't think that TMG was going to be that strong. And then apparently just shows I am completely dead wrong. This is the team that won the championship last year. So, I mean, I'm pleasantly surprised. I love being wrong, especially when it comes to League of Legends. It gives so much more excitement when I don't really know what's going to happen. And if it's that style that you mentioned, that makes it even better. And I think, I don't know if you'll agree with me on this one, but I think Metashift will be in the best position to kind of have that big hyper carrying, at least in the early game, getting that big advantage. Trundle is so good at getting that lead and just swinging with it. Just an absolute snowball champ.
Yeah, 100%. And just for yourself, a little more information, as obviously I'm Vanquisher alumni now at this stage. I'm never leaving. But TMG Death Knights last year, they went 7-0 in series in their groups. They only dropped 2 games total and they won 14. So they had an 88% win rate coming through. And then we came to the seeding stage and they got beaten by Elysian Esports in seeding. And they lost to Half Orc Barbarians in seeding and then beat Omega Gaming Goobers. But after that, they went on a tear. They beat absolutely everyone 3-0, 3-2, and 3-1. So, like, when it came to seeding and best of ones, yes, they dropped a couple of games there, it happens. But for the actual ones that mattered in terms of getting up the board or getting through playoffs, they didn't drop a series. They won every single one. So there's something about them that is just solidified in my mind that this is a team to watch. It's like watching SKT at Worlds. There's something about them. They do something magic, okay? And that's all I need to know. But Flash Syndicate's also a team not to be like, oh, they're nowhere near TMG. Flash Syndicates are absolutely phenomenal players as well. I think they had 70% or so when it came to their group stage. I think they only dropped like 2 games total. And I think that was to Akuma and TMGD. So yeah, another team we have to keep an eye on, and a lot of things we have to watch. But instead, we're going to watch a 5-man bush control. They know what Metashift wants to do. They know they want that ward, but it was given away by Oral.
Yeah, and they're not going to let them walk in here. So going to be pretty good for Flash Syndicate. They were able to predict it, and it just shows that they're kind of paying attention to all of these other teams. They're paying attention to what TMG like to do, and they're just not giving them that early ward. Not important. It's just completely matching Metashift here. It will give a bit of information, and they do manage to get the ward on the bot side. Fortress Door was able to place that, but a slight informational advantage for TMG, but at the same time, you see these teams know each other quite well.
Yeah, they faced each other in groups last year around, and although some of the names might have changed, no, they're still the same old team. They still want the same, and I think every single jungler above Diamond always goes for that Raptor ward. They always wanted information. Even we see the mid laner here, Stone Cold, going in, dropping one onto the Raptors to make sure that they know when Jin Zhao is crossing that middle path. Once that happens, we'll see the game shift again because bot lane can play a little bit more aggressive, and the top lane, they'll have to pull back just a little bit. All of these little intricate details that only really happen at the highest tier, because I've casted a few other leagues down below, and you do sometimes see like the jungler gets spotted going top side, and then let's say it's the red side jungler and then the blue side jungler top laner's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go all in, see what happens, and the red jungler disappears, and you're like, oh well, that's game for top lane. There's so much more thought process when it comes to these elos, and every little step matters. So see what they're going to do with this one. Is right now Varus and Nautilus into the Jhin and Rel. Where do you sit on this side of things? What lane would you give it to? Would you give it to the Jhin or give it to the Varus?
I mean, personally, if I was playing in this matchup as an AD carry player myself, I would definitely prefer to be the Varus. I think that Varus does have higher base range than Jhin just by a little bit. It's actually kind of between that regular ADC and the Caitlyn there. And if I'm Jhin, I want to be getting kills. I want to try and get in on the play as soon as possible. But on Varus, I'm just chilling. And if my Nautilus lands a hook, I can still follow up on it. It's not that I can't fight. It's that I don't need to fight. And just because of that, I would always prefer to be the Varus-Nautilus pairing, at least in this matchup.
Yeah, as we do see. And for everyone wondering what the top laner's name is on TMG, it's just Cone. Don't worry about him trying to be cool with his barcode. It's just Cone. We don't have to worry about that, okay? Cone, obviously one of our favorites here at Titan, as he did help us so much last year with the streams. So big shout out to Cone. But this time around, I'm on the Renekton side, and I really hope to see you get bodied by this, because who doesn't love to see a Renekton body something? It's one of those simple pleasures in League of Legends. Just a nice, easy champion. But in the mid lane, a lot of damage heading onto that Syndra as they're playing an aggressive first strike build. Well, personally, I would not.
Line, and now the fight's starting to break open a little bit. They do get the root onto Oral, and now Metashift is here with the pillar. They get the root onto Liam. The cleanse does come out. Ignite as well. Hail of Arrows not going to be enough damage. Liam going to be able to back away with just a little bit of HP. But look at the massive wave that Liam may be forced to miss, but still trying to walk back. Will be able to land the flourish on a Fortress Door. And maybe we'll be able to get just a little bit of this. At the very least, gets the XP, and surprisingly, despite that, is actually up in CS. So that's a little bit of a win for the Jin there, but definitely in a terrible situation now with that HP bar. As now we do have another gang going on in the top side, but going to get pulled right back underneath the tower. And one more hit, and not important's gonna go down. Comb gets first blood as TMG take the lead.
Yeah, they get first blood in the top side. You don't want to see that onto the Mordekaiser because that will be a tank you do not want to deal with later. But just taking that extra 2 tower shots, great little pull from Cone, extra damage, ramping towers, and they're so much stronger now in this Spirit Blossom meta, as we do see. Back to this mid lane now. Hwei a little bit low on mana and is going to get stunned up. A nice, decent trade there from Stone Cold Intel, but they do need to step off because here comes all the mana coming back from Hwei. 200 years of game design pulled in, circle, damage, everything you need, and this mid lane, as low as both of them are, you don't expect anything to happen until junglers appear, right?
Yes, unless one of them can kind of get the other one with their level 6 timing. I think one of those level ups should be enough to get the kill, regardless of who gets it first. So if they're not careful, if they're not paying attention, could definitely be a place where they can get surprised, but both these teams probably should be pretty strong. And now they're going on to blue card hype. The pillar's going to land. Flash for flash trade. And now in the meanwhile, they are going to be fighting on the other side. And Oral actually going to be able to get the kill. And now Metashift on the left side of the screen just kind of whacking away, but not going to be able to get the kill back. Very solid roam from the support of Flash Syndicates.
Yeah, good roam, good kill, good pickup, and everyone kind of getting involved there. Jin Zhao was also in the area, but did not get the assist. But great little bit of movement there from both sides.
Now they're going to land in red line. They're looking for blue card hype. Just needs one more bite. Fortress Door will secure that kill, but again, still a victory play for TMG, managing to answer that mid lane.
Yeah, we do see that Lien was beginning to walk up there, so maybe there's some thoughts there that maybe they just keep this fight going, but we'll return back to the solitary bot lane where ADCs just play 1v1 these days. Who needs supports, am I right? But yeah, they get themselves onto 2 kills, 1 away from that feat of warfare, brings them closer and closer to getting those new boots, which are so good, as we do see Renekton getting that nice little trade in. Conqueror proc, step out, disappear. Wonderful stuff. I just love to see Renekton's trade patterns. They're just the simplicity of League sometimes just gets to me. But let's have a look across the board here, as we are seeing a bit of a CS lead now for the Renekton coming through, but that kill going over to Mordekaiser will definitely give him the advantage. Well, both of them are playing with the recalls here. As you see, the junglers slightly in the lead is the Trundle, as they're getting around just a little bit faster, but Jin Zhao is going to get that second crab in the top side. In the mid, nearly dead even, just an assist in the difference. But this bot side, big lead being built here for Varus, and Oral also coming back with that kill, as well as Fortress having a kill. It's going to be a game of which support wants to pull the trigger first, right?
Yeah, 100%. But the lane's always going to be difficult for Lien. This is the Arcane Comet Varus as well, so it is going to be that poke build. And while you do have fleet footwork, it does not feel like it used to. It is no longer that get out of jail free keystone that it was about a year or two ago at this point. It's been a while since it's changed, but because of that, this Varus should be able to just consistently have pressure, just throwing out those hail of arrows off cooldown. That damage really starts to add up, because every single time it's going to deal about 150, and Lien just has to give that pressure. And because of that, there's going to be a lot of minions missed, and without the help of Oral, there's just no way that he can really jump onto Outflayed. But the opposite is also not true, though, because Outflayed, landing those Chains of Corruptions could force at least the cleanse, and if that's down, could definitely try to get that kill there.
Yeah, as we do see the bot side from TMG are now going to move up towards that top side. Now, this usually means that teams want to go towards those grubs, and they are being started up quite quickly here by Metashift. So that could be their plan going forward, give all of that tower pressure over to their side. But Oral is sitting in the area. They want to go all in here.
This is popped there immediately. Go again, slice and dice. Outflayed, gonna flash away. But now Fortress Door is in a bad spot. Will flash away. The Chains of Corruption able to buy enough room for them, but they're still staying a little bit. Flash is still available on this Renekton. I would not be surprised to see them go in, and immediately going on to Outflay, and the barrier does nothing. Going to get deleted. Now Metashift is here. Jade Yo is starting to get pretty low. The pillar does come out. Oral trying to buy a little bit of space. Does land a stun, but Metashift is just going to go on that one first. But now the Renekton is here, gonna get stunned up, gonna get rooted, and the feet of Warfare going the way of TMG as they're still looking for more. Fortress Door just trying to get those roots at 50 HP. Won't be able to get the kill onto Oro, but it is a 1-for-1 trade overall.
Yeah, 1-for-1, and it goes really, really well there for the Renekton. Getting in, getting the barrier timing as well. That was so unfortunate there from the Varus. But we do have the first of the setup here for TMG. They do manage to get the Feet of Warfare, which is great. It is 2 grubs to 1 in favor of TMG, so they also get that mark, but there is a Drake for FS, so I'll be keeping an eye on these as some of the graphics aren't quite working. Don't worry about it. It's always week 1. But the thing I'm most excited about is the fact that it's just the Mordekaiser's just stuck in that bot side with Jhin. They haven't really capitalized enough on the Mordekaiser being able to get in on that Jhin. They should be pushing someone down there. They should be getting something down there to get this Jhin out, because that Jin's just free farming solo, and they're getting solo XP as well. That's going to be massive for a Jhin. That's what you really want, right?
For Jhin, I don't think it matters quite as much as other champions. Now, this game, it does get a little bit different, as there is a solo kill in the mid lane. Stone Cold Insult able to take down Blue Card Hype, but speaking more on the Jhin, it isn't an AD carry that scales exceptionally well. It isn't one of those hyperscalers. So if you are getting kills and fights onto the Varus, and unfortunately the Varus did go down in the last fight, so wasn't able to get anything back from there, but it's better to play to your AD carry than just kind of giving that free CS over. And don't underestimate how much pressure the Mordekaiser just being in the area can apply to a Jhin. Because at any moment, Mordekaiser could just flash in, and we can kind of see that. Curtains have to be called just to safely farm it out. So despite it being the 1-for-1, 1 versus 1 in this bot lane, range versus melee, it is by no means a safe lane for the Jhin.
Oh, by no means safe, but just like how much farm they're picking up. And I honestly do think that the higher levels you go with Jhin, it just feels like your fort shot does more. I don't know what it is. It just feels better. Toki, that's all it is. It just feels better. I love being a level 18 Jhin and just feeling good about it, but an unfortunate recall there as well for the Jhin. They still haven't got their boots, which is kind of important for Jhin, because you get the movement speed with the crits, and you kind of want to get moving as fast as possible because it allows you to space correctly, but also not getting the collector on that back it's not going to feel good right now for the Jhin, but it looks like they might be swapping the lanes back with synchronized recalls bottom top. Yes, so Mordekaiser is moving back towards that top side as we do have pro comps drafts.
Metashift's gotta get jumped on here, but we'll be able to just run it out. And actually gonna trade right back, just gonna start autoing on a net important. And the flash actually going to get burned. And now Metashift still chasing on, but no support is there. Stone Cold Insult not going to be able to get into the area in time. But pretty interesting how the catch ends up being a play in favor of Metashift.
Yeah, it loses his ult, which is fine in terms of not important not having flash now with the Drake coming up in just under 50 seconds now. So 2 massive kind of summoners on junglers burnt there with the ult versus the flash, and Jhin I think a much more important one. So yeah, this is going to be an interesting one, because do you give up the Drake and try and make a play on the opposite side of the map, as that is a picture of Smolder.
That's close enough. We know they're stacking. That's what matters here.
I just like to point out production errors, because that's what we do here at Titan, especially me. I just like to point them out every single time. Much love to my producer and observer, Loki and Golden. Love you all, but still, get on it, like, get on this. But yeah, I think the most important thing now is this Drake. How contestable is it in your eyes if you were on the side of FS without that flash on Jhin?
I think it is still very contestable. Curtains Called, I believe, is still up, so if they're able to use that, they're still going to be plenty safe. And they have a pretty solid composition for fighting here. Now, they are down a little bit, but if this Renekton does come down to the bot lane, already has that completed item as well, I think they can definitely fight it. The only issue that I can really see for them is Metashift. If Metashift is able to just stand in the middle of them, just free auto that entire time, it will get dangerous. But it looks like they're going to go in, Scout of the Week, going to start off the fight. And now with the Dredge Line, they have everything going onto Stone Cold Insult, just removing the Cinder immediately. And now Fortress Door in the middle of everyone will survive for now. But now the curtains are being called. Leon, the sniper, just getting everyone double kill. able to take down, oh, as Metashift is going to flash away, but 3 Talent Strike is going to be there. Not important, will get the kill. It's a 4-0 for Flash Syndicates, and they get themselves the dragon.
And this is what I said. I said this about the virus. It's like you have timing windows, and this is not your timing. This is not when you can play. And Jin, doesn't matter. You have curtain call. You have the levels, and you're stronger. Just straight off the. Oh, it's so unfortunate because Varus is so good as an on-hit, but as a lethality, you have so much more time to scale. You need that Mura mana completed. You need 2 items. You need all of this, and it's just not going to work out in those early fights. And FS, even without the flash on the Xin Zhao, they still got into the fight. They still played it perfectly. They bought the space for Lien, and you saw the shots coming through. It was actual sniper levels, just one by one, and yeah, Toki, that's a big one for FS to get the second Drake, to get 4 kills. They bring themselves back into this one, and it's very, very strong. But it's still TMG, so I'm still on the side of weariness on how this is going to go, but that's a massive, massive boon now for Jin.
Yeah, but in the end, they're still only up about 1k gold, so it's definitely not an insurmountable lead, but you're kind of talking a bit of those timings for the Varus, and to be completely honest, I don't think that lethality Varus was the play here. I think on-hit is just a lot stronger in the current meta, and especially when there is that Xin Zhao, as Jadeno might be getting jumped upon, will be able to just dodge away that dredge line, so no play there. But going back to that, to what I was saying, the on-hit would just be able to bring out a lot more damage. The Crescent Guard coming out from Not Important is going to be able to negate a lot of that damage. They have shields. Renekton's going to be able to kind of out-sustain a lot of that poke damage as well. So it's not going to be able to stick quite as well. And they lack engage a little bit, even now in Flash Syndicate. They still do have that play, as actually we're going to have a team fight going on the top side. And now in the Death Realm, and now with that, they're going to be able to pull them right back with the Dredge Line. One more, and they're going to be able to get the kill over in the top side, and should be able to get themselves that top turret as well.
Yeah, top turret. They're also going to summon the Rift Herald. They might be able to get 2 procs off this one if they want to play it out, but more importantly, that is feats completed. That will be the boots good to go for them. And yeah, big job. Oh no, there's already a bot tower gone, so they haven't got that one yet. Never mind, so there's still 1 more objective that needs to be taken by the side of FS. Well, 2 for TMG. My apologies, I wasn't looking at bot tower because bot is just not an important role anymore. Thanks, Riot, again. Do you know what? Oh, never mind. Little bit scared there, but do you remember the exclamation point meta?
Exclamation point meta?
It was ADC in 2022, I believe, where Renekton, Rengar existed.
Oh, yes. Yes, I do remember that. I don't think I played much as an AD carry main.
Yeah, that meta feels like this meta, but it's like you don't die as much, you just don't do as much. You just don't have as much power. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's just like you can look at these and go, in a competitive sense, ADCs are very, very important. But like when it comes to solo queue, you just feel like you do nothing. Absolutely nothing. But yeah, right now, it's all top power, I think, is where we're going to see most competitive games go. It's like the winning top lane will kind of control the flow of the game. But tempo-wise right now, FS are playing what I believe LS calls the 5 minutes of doom, where you're just waiting for the next Drake. You're not going to try and overextend for anything. You're not going to really look for picks. You're just going to play to your side of the river. You're going to play as safe as possible. If you can find something while you're there, that's great, but you're not going to go deep looking for anything. You're going to be playing as safely as possible while you wait for that next Drake, because you want to complete those objectives. You want to get to that soul point. You want to get to a stage where you feel like you were then in the lead, because gold is so fluctuating now in this, with the new bounty systems coming in and how everything's kind of changed up. There is that worry that you're not quite in the lead and you're not quite as strong as you think you are. But objectives and souls, they're still incredibly important, as Oral is going to go in on Fortress Door. A little bit of poke back onto the end.
Actually, Curtain's going to be called here. I don't think they're going to be able to get the kill there, and in fact, the Renekton also getting jumped upon there will have to burn the flash, but Metashift still running at him. But with Oral and Not Important being in the area, gonna have to back away, at least for now. But in fact, they're able to get Fortress Door. Now, Blue Card Hype almost gets taken down. Chains of Corruptions have already been used. Stone Cold Insult is in the area, and with the Scatter of the Week, it should be pretty big here, and we'll get all 4 members. And now they're looking for Not Important. Does have the Crescent Guard, but Metaship has the club. And now Oral is going to be able to flash over the wall and get away. But this is going to be a lot of pressure onto the Dragon for TMG, and they should be able to secure that and possibly even this mid lane tier 1.
Yeah, this is what I was saying. 5 minutes of Doom, you're just biding your time. You're not trying to overextend. As soon as they overextend, it was not their timing, it was not their tempo. And TMG, they found the play, they found the timing, they found the kills, and set themselves up to take the Drake, which is what all FS wanted at that time. Flash Syndicates just wanted to get to that Drake.
But they're going to contest.
They haven't given up on a double TP.
Yeah, they're getting ready for it. Now Stone Cold Insult is at half HP and is immediately going to get sniped down. 1 hit away from total doom. And now Oral trying to engage onto the backline will be able to zone them away. But their carries are still pretty far. Not Important and Leon, they're still walking as close as they can. And at the same time, it looks like TMG might be the ones giving it up. Now, Stone Cold Insult does have Flash, can get back into this fight, but it'll take a little bit of time and it might be a little bit too late. But it looks like TMG, they still want to fight this. They're still walking in, and Oral able to land on the 3. The crash down going to get the truck by the dredge line, and it's stolen. Metashift able to get that kill, and now Oral gonna be able to back away with no HP, but Zane Yo just getting kited back. Will get finished off by Metashift once again, and now Not Important will come out of the death room and will go back to death. And it's just gonna be Oral on blue card hype, still trying to kite away. Leon, full HP, but nothing that this Jin can do. Is going to be that 2 for nothing, and the Dragon all going the way of TMG.
FS over forcing for these Drakes. They wanted it so badly, spending double TPs, still losing it. Oral wants to die on the end of it. Horsey gets bonked and chewed on, but look how much they're losing off of this. They're losing so... Did Lien just kill Varus?
Yeah, that is something that happened. Leon just able to get the snipe, and it looks like curtains were called and just managed to get those 4 shots. A little bit of extra gold as well with the collector. So Leon is definitely scaling up, but they're getting 1 pick for every teamfight TMG gets.
First line in the mid lane just gets sniped. Yeah, what I was going to point out was Leon actually had curtain call right at the end of that fight. So right when everyone was making their escape, it just came up. They were trying to get into a position to maybe open up, and they never got it. They just by a couple more seconds. And before we got into that fight, I was saying that 4 out of 5 ults were down. The only ult available for them in that fight was Renekton's Dominus, and that's not really one of the ones you want to be playing with. So we're going to go back to it now, as we're going to have a look. Okay, so this overstaying here, outplayed, overstaying, and Syndra.
Oh, just 1 snipe.
Oh, you can just imagine how toxic that Discord call is right now.
Yeah, I know I'd be flaming them for sure. But I am toxic, so that's okay.
I'm European.
Yeah, don't need to say any more after that. But now with this, the next objective that is going to be up, kind of killing a little bit of that 5 minutes of doom that, like you said, LS likes to talk about a lot. I think Otacon does change that formula a little bit, just because there are going to be more moments where it isn't just the Dragon. There's going to be other things. That's a little bit of an all-in happening. The Dominus is going to get popped, but actually Death Realm as well. So now it's just going to be the 1 versus 1. Not Important is in the area as well. So if they're not able to get this kill, will get stunned up, trying to kill away. Not Important will secure that kill, and that's going to be a pretty big pickoff for Flash Syndicate.
Oh, but there is a very low Renekton here as Fortress Door and Metaship have appeared. It's just going to be getting in range for Dredge line, and the Renekton is gone. So although they might have outplayed the Mordekaiser, used the Death Realm to pull them towards the Xin Zhao, it's still giving up another kill. So Metashift goes on a rampage, gets another kill for themselves. This Trundle rushing into Titanic and Triforce. Blue card hype is in the area.
Now they're going to be opening up. Just need 2 hits. Spiral of Despair gonna get flashed away. 4th shot going to miss. And now we're gonna be answered a little bit. Decent amount of damage coming in from Stone Cold Insult. Now looking for the snipe, but the damage not gonna be high enough there. But one thing I did want to talk about, yes, they did trade evenly 1 for 1 in the top lane, but that's with Fortress Door coming in as well. And because of that, that opened up that opportunity in this bot lane for Oral. They had uneven numbers there, and I like that they did try to make a play, knowing that they had the advantage.
Yeah, that was one of those things you always play to the opposite side of the map. So as soon as there's a play opening up on the top, they see Fortress Door up there, they see Metashift up there, they go, okay, cool, we can head towards bot because we have the numbers advantage down there, but Stone Cold Incel does manage to step away from that. So a really, really good work from Cinder to recognize that there is something happening towards their side of the map. As right now, we are going to check back in, see how the game is going overall. So there's a slight advantage for in gold in favor of TMG, and I have to say most of that will probably be in that jungle role, as Metashift has been playing an absolute storm of a game so far on that Trundle. But that Akatan is just looming there. That's the next big one we have to keep an eye on, as well as Drake spawning now. How do you feel about both of these spawning at the same time and teams over forcing in these cases, going there's two objectives there?
I mean, I think the best way to play it is pretend the Otacon isn't there. The Otacon is Baron. You don't start Baron in front of the enemy team unless you know exactly what you're doing. And with that armor and a Mars Shroud, I'd even argue that it's harder to fight around Otacon than it is around Baron. But right now, they might be looking for that pig. Not important. Immediately going to jump on the Stone Cold Ansel. Scatter the week going to be used, but the stun isn't there. And now Flash with 3-pound strike has nowhere to go. Will get finished off. Trying to trade back. The press R to win is not going to happen. But Fortress Door now flashing in. That's a major cooldown used for nothing. It's a double kill for Blue Card Hype. And maybe now they can take both of these objectives.
Yeah, that's a massive, massive kind of turnaround there from a position they didn't really need to be in. But the worst thing about that is, Toki, I'm sure you saw it as well, that there's a ward in the Atakan pit that spotted the Xin Zhao walk straight past it into that bot side. And Stone Cold Incel had to know.
Looks like they still want to fight. The Chains of Corruption is going to come through. Same with the Pillar, looking for not important, and has a Subjugate, and now gonna pull him back, and they're able to get on to 2 oil, trying to find a little bit of space for Leon, but now the TP is coming through. It's another 3 versus 3. Outflayed, going to TP, or to flash away, but the Mordekaiser is gone, and the Curtains are called. Metashift gonna be tanking it for now. This Varus learned their lesson. Outflayed, not gonna get finished off by that again, but they will get the 3rd Drake. And now Metashift still in the middle of everyone, but look at that. Mooseby just dodging away and everything. Piercing arrow, scatter the weak as well. Blue Card Hype will get finished off, but Metashift will get traded back, and now Leon flashes forward, takes down Outflayed. And now Fortress Door, this fight just never ends. People are respawning, getting right back into the action. Dominus onto Stone Cold Austin with the flourish, and one more hit is all that's needed. Fortress Door, you're on the wrong side of the map. You don't have flash, you don't have friends. I'm just sorry, this is the end for you here.
Calling them friendless is wild, Toki. Calling them friendless is wild.
In the area, geographic convenience.
Geographically,
friends.
yeah, you are in no man's land, a lighthouse in the middle of nowhere. But no, yeah, this fight never ended. It was a minute and a half solid worth of fighting from people TPing in, to then the other team TPing in, and in the end, FS get the Drake that they wanted. They're getting the Atakan as well. They've gotten everything from this that they could possibly want, and it makes no sense whatsoever. It makes no sense. Like, this is going to be one of those clips they put up on Reddit in like Summoner School, and they're trying to explain like what should happen from this situation, and no one will be able to guess it correctly. It is beyond ELO, whatever just happened down there. That was messy, uncoordinated. I feel like Discord went down all across North America as they didn't even try to communicate. They just said, we're just going to keep fighting. That's it. That's all that happened there. But more importantly, FS now back in the lead. I feel like the goal leads have ever only been between 1 and 2k, and they're constantly swinging back and forth. No one can take a substantial lead in this game.
No, definitely not. And we look at all the objectives that they've gotten, right? So 2 Dragon advantage for FS, as well as the Otacon buff. But at the same time, defeats were taken by TMG. So even in that, it's just not a big swing. Both sides getting the advantages in some places while losing out in others. But I think the big name that we can really talk about right now is Lien. 703 has the 3-item spike as Jodeanyo going to get jumped upon, and probably will go down. Will pop the Dominus, though, just trying to buy a little bit of space. But there's really not too much to do. Stone Cold Incel just gonna be able to pop that kill. As now Oral, also in a bit of trouble over in the mid lane, I believe is alone. But now Leon is in the area and will be able to get the Magnastorm as Fortress Door will get popped. But Metashift now jumping on to Leon, but the Spiraling Despair buying some space. Not important in the meanwhile, just kiting everyone else in the front. And will even be able to use the Audacious Charge to escape. So that's going to be a massive play going forward. But Blue Card Hype and Leon, they're both still available. Curtains have already been called, so they cannot follow up with that. And it's just a 2-4-2 out of nowhere. Make that a 3-4-2 as Blue card hype, bringing the hype with that snipe.
That was unnecessary, is the best way to put it. Absolutely unnecessary. There was no reason to fight around that area. There was no reason for TMG to try and get something from that. They had timings there to sit back, try and reset the tempo, get your lanes in order, take your time with it, and Oral just goes in, Lien opens up a curtain call to start it, and then everyone can collapse meta shift, trying to drag themselves from the bot side after they'd picked up that kill to try to get back to that, and it just opens up more and more in FS. They're playing their fights slightly better in terms of, if we win this, we get objectives, while TMG are just kind of in the position of, let's just fight. They're not thinking about the Baron, they're not thinking about the numbers advantage, not thinking about their positions on the map at the time in Toki. They don't look like the team that I saw before that were so controlled and they were so composed around everything. They seem a little bit messy going into week one.
Well, one thing I've learned in my time actually as a Dota player, and I'm going to quote one of the best Dota players of all time, No Tail, two-time world champion. And one thing he said about these kinds of games is, and I'll make it a bit more caster friendly for broadcast, but if the game is going silly, you go silly as well. Don't try to break the rhythm. Don't try to add your own structure when the game doesn't have structure. And right now, that's exactly what FS is doing. They're feeling themselves. They know that right now this game's chaotic. So just embrace the chaos, go in more. And again, they're just gonna start a fight. And now the curtains are gonna be called over top. And now they're looking immediately onto Metashift, getting rid of the jungler. And now Fortress Door is gonna be the next. Stone Cold Insult will be able to turn one back. No smites are available as the soul is back up. But Lian just charging into 3. Will get hit by the drench line, but has the cleanse, will immediately turn it back. And in the meanwhile, there's a solo bolo in the top side. Jadan, able to get that kill. And they're going to push through mid lane, but I'm wondering if they're going to try and go for this Mountain Soul.
This Mountain Soul is available to them, but we've seen every single time one of these Drakes appears on the map, teleport seems to be the first button people press. Now, Syndra has it. There is no junglers. Please, please tell me no one's going to go for a TP play onto this. Please tell me everyone's just going to be nice and calm. Let them have the soul. Get your lanes back in order. And as much as I agree with if the game's silly gets sillier, I like to be calm and composed. I like to put structure into games. I'm one of those horrible people that tells everyone to calm down. Okay? Toki, you can go as crazy as you want. Don't worry about it. But me, I like my structure. We just need to get this fight in a way where Varus can actually use his abilities. They're not giving Varus a timing window to get damage down. It all just seems way too messy and people are in the wrong positions, wrong times. They're focusing whatever's directly in front of them, but they're not lining anything up for the Varus. Varus needs to be able to hit one single target multiple times with multiple spells to refresh those cooldowns. And Varus just isn't getting the time. While Lien is just walking forward, getting Dredgeline hooked, cleansing it and going, okay, cool, and then one-shotting you as a tank. They need to buy Varus time. That's what you picked Varus first pick for. This was your priority pick, and it looks like it was a panic pick.
Yeah, it looks like they picked it because they know that Varus should be the first pick. It doesn't seem like they had a full plan for it. And again, with his Varus build being the poke build, I don't think it's quite as effective here. But now, a little bit, both sides looking at each other. They both know they're there, but they don't know they're there. And Piercing Arrow going to be able to spot it out. So at the very least, TMG not going to walk into the Death Brush. But again, that's still going to be the inside track for FS. They're going to be able to take away this tier 2. And especially with the poke Varus, Mountain Soul just completely nullifies this AD carry. And I don't think you can bring Outplay back into this game.
No, I think it is. There's always that opportunity, maybe, for Outplay to hit the Hui. Always that outside chance. There's always some way they might be able to get to it, but you're thinking of 1-2% chances in a game where they're so far ahead, they feel the confidence to go, we can just fight this. Lien is way too strong. Jadambo is, this is like, there's so many things right now for Flash Syndicates to work with that it feels like a bit of a doomed situation for TMG. Now, what would I be thinking about next game in terms of how to get that momentum back as TMG? I'd be looking around this bot side and going, lethality didn't really work. Lien can be a safety carry. Maybe just go back to basics and go Lucian Nami and just try to bully the life out of that ADC. Is that's something you would think about in this position, as if you were the coach for the team watching this?
I mean, especially for Masters kind of games, I wouldn't care too much about trying to get the game back in their favor through that means. I think just play what you like to play what you normally play, and just pretend game number 1 never happened. Take away the mistakes that you made, learn from them, but don't dwell on them. And I think that's what TMG need to do. And I mean, they were a championship team in the past, so I'm sure they already know how to do that, and they're going to be able to bring that. Outside of that, I think just pick a matchup that you're comfortable with. Maybe leave AD carry a little bit later, and maybe think a little bit more intently about how you want to play with that AD carry. Because I maintained if this was on hit, this would be a very different game. Because Outflayed has had a lot of opportunity just getting those auto attacks through the fight. Metashift is buying so much space, but when everything's on cooldown, there's just nothing this Varus can do. Those timings are too short for how fast this team composition wants to play.
Yeah, maybe so. We also do have to remember that Outflight is one of the subs here for TMG, with usually Lilofant being their ADC,
Yeah,
so
now
maybe...
they're jumping onto this Renekton, and then Domina's going to get popped, and Jordan, I thought for a second it was going to go aggressive with the way this game's going, but instead the fight's going to be on the other side. Oh, it's in the backline, able to get the Magnustorm onto everyone. Leon is legendary, and now with the Death Realm, it's going to buy a little bit of time, but should have nowhere to go on this Mordekaiser. And now they're gonna land the flourish as well. Stone Cold Intel gonna get taken down. Metashift is fleeing, will get taken down as well. It's a 4-for-0. They have the minions. Can Outflayed hold? I think this is gonna be a very difficult hold, as the flourish will land. And now with that, it's the ace. And FS now definitely gonna push it down the mid lane and win game number 1.
Game number 1 in the bag for Titan Summer. Yeah, that's a play. That's FS coming out, and that's Lien putting a mark on their head as a heavy carry for this team. And I do have to say, there is maybe a little bit of worry there. I was saying just before that last fight broke out that maybe they are missing out on Lilofant as that ADC. Maybe it's just a little bit of comfort there in that bot side, that they're just not scrimmed enough with their sub. But Flash Syndicates, they do take game 1, and Toki, it looked messy and a little bit unorganized, but when it came to those team fights, they looked very, very ready for those, even with late TPs coming in, even coming into later fights when they had to keep resetting the fights with people rejoining. They looked really good at focusing the same target.
Yeah, Flash Syndicates, they had amazing communication clearly, and I mean, I have to give quite a few shout outs to this team. Oral especially, finding so many solid flanks, and now getting the crash down and the Magnustorm onto multiple targets. When the other team sets it up for you, it's not too difficult. But Oral was always able to find the backline just through those flanks, just through their own positioning. And I think it made the rest of the team fight easier, because Blue Card Hype just going to be dealing so much damage to all of them at the same time, and Leon just cleaning up those fights. I mean, Flash Syndicates really impressed me in this game, and I gotta say, Zader, this was my first time in the Vanquisher League. I am just a sub here as well, but boy, was this a way to enter into TVL. I mean, that's all I gotta say here.
Yeah, TVL is one of those leagues where anything can happen, and every single time it does, it is absolutely magical, and it is one of those games that will go down in history as a game of League of Legends. It was definitely a game of League of Legends, but we'll be back with game 2 very, very soon, so please do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.
like do 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 do, like do 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 crazy, oh 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 crazy, oh 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 crazy crazy, oh oh crazy, oh 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 crazy, do 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 crazy.
So that's not Toki. I'm just going to bring it back. That's not Toki. That is Romeo. That is an old face.
It
and
might
not
be
just because
Toki.
he looks older than me, and this was proven a couple of Vanquishers ago, that he looks older than me. No, this is a caster that's returning after doing something. You were doing something boring.
I did some theater and voice acting in the last year. Now we're back because evidently it
some
didn't
really
work out.
boring. Some really
Yeah,
as
of
you
course.
can see as well, he still hasn't got fashion sense. In all that time doing theater, he's decided to still dress like a Resident Evil 5 character.
That is fashion sense, though. People love the Resident Evil character. Okay,
They don't.
Leon Kennedy shirtless. You're telling me right now that you don't have 100 people in chat thirsting over it.
Set. In general, set.
Viego.
Leon,
I would dress like Viego if I had a six-pack.
Yeah, you're not allowed to have one. But we are going to jump really quickly back into these games with Flash Syndicate taking game 1 against TMG, our reigning champions, which is a surprising one, but Flash Syndicate is still one of our top 4 teams. Now, Romeo, you've been away from Vanquisher for a little while, so things have changed. I believe you were an ELY boy back in the day. I'm not sure if that's Elysian or Elysium.
Still Elysium, but
Elysium,
yes, I don't think they ever had a team in Vanquisher. I think their highest was
because
Diamond.
like you're probably one of their best players, and you're like hard stuck plat.
I don't think I'm one of the best anymore. I'm just like one of the greatest of all time in League in general. But I'm washed. You know, I'm a little washed. We're getting back.
You never got out of the washing machine.
I'll hit Diamond one day.
You've always been washed.
I will hit Diamond one day. It hasn't happened yet. It almost happened in Marvel Rivals.
Marvel Rivals is not a thing, but we finally do get to see our Kiss, Marry, Kill as our production team has found a way around it, as they're going to drag it directly over our faces. But basically, this game is where we choose our Kiss, Marry, and Kill from these skins and champions. Now, as you can see, Tokibi has had to leave us. Tokibi has a very, very full schedule, and thankfully did jump in for game 1, but it disappeared from our screens again. But Toki did marry Diana, Kiss Kale, and kill Jace, and I think we all chose together to kill Jace, because that's just fair. But on the other side of things, I'm the only one that chooses to marry Kale. Now, I do want to speak about this because it's very important here. Why wouldn't you want to marry Kale? Diana, there's way too much going on there. Way too much.
But that's what makes it fun, Satyr.
No, she's too angry for me. Sometimes you need someone who's just going to take care of you. Like, imagine just a Kale ult in the middle of the night, keep you warm and toasty. Oh, come on. You know what I mean? Romeo, talk to me. What do you think?
Yeah, hear me out. Like, I don't know if I want a Kale ult keeping me nice and toasty. I feel like it's like too warm. And like, Diana, okay, crazy girls are fun. And, and if you marry one, that can be a great time. If you kiss Kale.
No, you don't marry crazy. You have fun with crazy. You do not marry crazy.
But is a kiss really gonna? If you kiss Kale, you can string her along. But I think honestly, I'd kill Kale. I'm taking Jace every day.
Mean, and that's misogynistic. You don't do that. No. We don't care.
I'd string Jace along.
No, to be honest, anything about that. See the way his hand is right now.
Yes.
Just wiping away that. Yeah, that's like I didn't actually look at these skins beforehand. They just gave me names. I'm actually changing it to kissing.
I think Jace. I'm kissing Jace and marrying Diana. Girls just want to have fun, and so do I.
No, there's something about Kale. Look at that hairstyle. You can just tell.
Nah.
It's just yeah.
It's screaming that I'm gonna say something wrong and get lit ablaze.
But it is saying that Kale has that TikTok energy, and she knows all the dances.
Is that a good thing?
Yeah, because a lot of those dances have very, very good bits that shake.
Yes, but they're also like done by 20-year-olds.
Is that not your age? Are you not
that
like
it's yeah, I mean, I'm 21 now. I'm not that. Yeah, okay.
Oh my god, you're so young. Oh my god.
Yeah, we started this duo when I was like 19. It's fine. But hear me out. Jace can swoop you up in those big arms and make you a hammer or give you hammer time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, like to be honest, there is something about that J skin that is
I
absolutely
feel like
perfect.
everyone killing him is wrong.
We are going to get into draft very, very quickly here, as we have gone a little bit off topic on the Jace side of things. But with our new Fearless, which is, I think, Romeo, this is your first time with Fearless.
I played Fearless in last split for like 2 games for a team, so I do
No,
know
but
how
Fearless
Fearless
in
works.
your elo is just like, it doesn't really matter.
Well, there's so many one tricks in my elo that it kind of does a little bit.
A little bit.
Just to be clear, is this Fearless or True Fearless? Like, Fearless is if that gets picked, it can't be played, or is it the bans also can't be played?
No, it's bans and picks. So it picks from
So
previous
everything's
games and
gone.
bans. Yeah, so the ones at the bottom there, you can see on the bottom of your screen, those ones were played last game. They're gone.
Okay.
And then the bans, they also count. But the
Yeah.
bans can change over the games. But
Yes.
so far bans are staying the same. If we will see coming through at the end of this one, Volibear also taken away. The last
I
one
heard
should be in
Volibear
theory.
got a lot better in the last little bit, and because I remember he was unplayable for a while, and now I've seen him come back in the tier lists. And Afira gonna be the last one taken away. Is Volibear like cracked now, or is it just good players?
Volibear's been in and out of S tier for like the last 5 months. I think he just has way too much sustain, and he's able to control the way that the game is played way too much. And I did say this at the end of last game, if anyone was listening, that I think that TMG should go back to just playing Lucian, Nami, and bully that bot lane. And for right now, it seems like that could be the options coming out here, as on the other side, we're going to see possibly a Ziggs head into that bot lane. Now, the issue I have with Ziggs is that you need to pair it with something that can roam around the map, disappear, and make something happen. And that's
Pantheon
not
is that. Pantheon, you hit level 6, he shows up in your lane, and you start crying. And I still think it works as a decent flex pick if they want to take a different roamer in the support lane. I feel like you can definitely swap him to a couple other lanes if they end up wanting to change it. Lucian Milio, though. It's not your Lucian Nami.
It's the same vein. It's the same idea of just playing Enchanter plus Lucian, dominate the lane. Pantheon could be moved around just a little bit. The TF being taken by TMG is interesting when Blue Card Hype is the mid laner for Flash Syndicate. So maybe there's something going on there. Maybe there's a little and a
Tristana coming
so
out. Is that? Do you think that's a Tristana mid, or do you think they're gonna swap the Ziggs to mid and run Tristana Pantheon? Because I feel like Tristana Pantheon can be a good combo.
Tristana struggles a little bit more in the Lucian lane, because if Tristana wants to all in, Lucian has the ability to just dump all of their damage directly onto Tristana's face, and if it works the way it works and Milio has the shields down, yeah, Lucian's going to win that one. But if Tristana goes into the mid lane or Ziggs, they both have a good chance against the TF, because TF is very yellow card, do a little bit of damage, throw out 3 cards. Yeah, I'll do something. But Tristana and Ziggs are like continuous barrages, so TF will have a tough time regardless.
What I'm hearing is send Ziggs bot, have him just freeze the lane, chill in the bot lane, hope for the best, and then just have Tristana Pantheon bully the hell out of Twisted Fate.
Yes, if Pantheon isn't going to go jungle, which I think it is, because even though Karma's band has currently been picked. So, there's
Wait a
something
minute.
wrong on the graphic here. There's something wrong. So
Wait, that's a good catch. Can we get update? Is that a Karma? A Mumu coming out? They play a Mumu in this elo? Karma pick, not Karma ban. So that is a Karma coming out. So you're probably right. That is going to be Karma support and then Pantheon jungle, which Karma, I feel like Karma Ziggs is a very safe bot lane. I don't know if it's going to be super entertaining. A Mumu Aatrox coming out from TMG. A Mumu jungle. I like playing a Mumu jungle. I didn't know people in Masters played a Mumu jungle.
yes, it's just a pick that works in most cases. It does damage, it's a tank, it has great engage. It's very, very easy to play in a Mumu. Now,
Yes.
with things breaking, that could be a couple of different picks, so I'm going to hold off on my expectations of what that actually is. But Vi was actually banned instead of the Karma, so
So the picks are
this
cool.
is correct. I was thinking that could have been a Vi. Oh, my brain was just like, Vi would be so good here into like something you need to lock down. But with the Aatrox and the Cassante matchup, that'll probably be the most interesting lane to watch overall. And Cassante being just incredibly oppressive throughout most of splits. Sorry, I was going to say most of the time, but it's just like every single split Cassante seems to make an appearance. But like Aatrox is one of those champions with some new kind of buffs coming in the next patch from what I've heard through my little special fairies working, that there is going to be some sweet spot damage upgrades for Aatrox coming soon. So that could definitely bring him back into the meta, but this game in particular, I'm very excited to see Cone on Aatrox because TMG need this win. So it looks like they're going, let's just play bullies, let's play comfort, let's play best we can on what we're given and just try force it straight down their necks. But Tristana heading into that mid lane I think is the best option.
It's definitely a team comp from TMG, which I want to see them do really well in laning phase. Otherwise, I feel like I'd be a little bit worried as the game goes on. But I feel like you have a Mumu, you have Twisted Fate, your level 6 with those roams can be super strong from TMG. And I think, who's favored in the Aatrox Cassante matchup usually? Is it dead even, or is there a little bit of a favor to one of them?
I'd put the favorite with Cassante just because Cassante has Cassante-ness too. The way it's played as a champion,
yes.
it's just the way it is. Cassante does Cassante things. It's like the Mundo effect. It's like Mundo goes where he pleases, Cassante punches what he wants to. But there is always that skill discrepancy when it comes to if Aatrox can time around the unstoppables from the Cassante, then it's very skill based, like the old Riven Yasuo top lane matchups. Will you be able to wind wall this in time? Who knows? Ooh. But it is interesting to watch when it is solely focused on that lane. But I think the more important thing for me is, sorry for the pun, but not important versus Metashift, because Metashift had a stellar game of stealing objectives and getting into great positions and being very strong on a trundle. But Not Important came out ahead in the game just by getting that soul and having a better team come surrounding them with better bot lane and better top lane. So I think Not Important really has to like improvise a little bit here and impress us with how they're going to path around and make sure their lanes stay ahead of what looks to be bully lanes. So very excited to see what it is. And also, whoever called me handsome in chat, I really appreciate you. And a meetup is nearly impossible when I live in Ireland. Okay,
You could get a plane ticket.
I could. You know what? If Titan want to put all the money together and send me over and we'll do a live show in Romeo's basement, sure, I'll go.
I'm
I'll
so game to do a live show in my basement.
It might be a little bit
We
different
put
than
Funko
Titan
Pops
After Dark.
everywhere.
Bit of a vlog. But yeah, no, like I am really excited to see how this game is going to go. I am going to see Metashift go back towards that. I'm going to ward Raptors because that's what Metashift like to does, and I'm hoping that you know this as a jungler that you should be warding this at 115, right?
Yes, ward it, walk back, have a good time because there's no reason not to. I've heard the camp still that like ward at like 55 and then back for their Oracle still. I know there's some people who still do that. I don't know what your opinion is on it. I kind of like doing it because I'm a little Oracle sucker who likes knowing if I'm on vision at all times, and I'm bad at predicting things, but
I like having that second trinket for a cover gank for my jungler or for my top laner. If I'm playing from bot to top, I'll have my second trinket by the time I get up towards that top side, and I can drop a ward for my top laner if I'm not going to focus that side of the lane or I'm not going to get a gank off. So that's where my idea comes into that. But look, I'm not really a jungler. I'm an ADC support, okay? I play down the bot lane. No one cares about me. I slip under the radar. That's how you do these things.
I can tell you're an ADC support because you say nobody cares about me.
You haven't seen the recent patches, Romeo. We don't.
Oh
do
god,
damage anymore.
is it that bad?
That's awful. Absolutely awful.
We do have a Mumu pathing towards the top side, Pantheon pathing towards the bottom side at the moment. So that's going to be a bit of a change up here. It's going to be Pantheon trying to help out the Ziggs and Karma, whereas a Mumu is going to be affecting the Aatrox Cassante matchup. How do you feel about Pantheon pathing to the bot side right now?
I'm half and half on it. I do think that Pantheon might be going for a little bit cheeky into the mid lane instead, even though Tristana is a high pressure pushing laner. I think we might see like a kind of pull back from the Tristana at a certain point to try to get the Pantheon into that lane, because Ziggs should never let up in terms of pressure either.
Yeah.
So I think Pantheon's pathing at the start is going to be just get through your jungle more than anything else. I think if any is going to be a cheeky gank, it's not going to be a heavy dives. They don't really have the comp for dives, but what they do have is 3 pushing lanes and the ability to prioritize what the Pantheon wants to do next, whether it's a scuttle, whether it's trying to aggress into certain areas and try and invade and get a couple of camps. You can even see Tristana right now going for that ward, saying, hey look, I've warded the Raptors, they're gone, and Mumu started bot side, you're clear to keep pushing on this. We might even see Pantheon cross and try to fight in that top side because prio is available, and it is something that is so important these days. But with that information, what will not important do?
I think it's what's very important as well is what Metashift is going to do. Because if Metashift can impact that top lane matchup right away and get like an early kill onto Aatrox, that can be a huge way to snowball this game out of control. Especially when Aatrox right now feels like one of the lanes that if it can get ahead can really change the later stages of the game, especially in the team fight. If he can get Cassandra behind and snowball a bit of a lead using that Amumu. It does look like Cassandra is going to be meeting Amumu in that river. I don't see him getting the scuttle. I think they're fighting over right now. Tristana's walking up, but Amumu did get the scuttle and get caught. I don't know if he'll be able to get off a gank from there. Pantheon, though, go.
Back on bot.
Pantheon's going around, too. It might be Outflayed getting caught out here. That's a huge bomb coming from Ziggs to push him ahead. The Satchel Charge's going to go. The flash goes. The stun still comes out, and it's a first blood from Not Important.
Yeah, and Not Important does make his mark on that bot side, and it was that little pullback from Lien, just kind of like inviting the pressure from Outflayed, and took the bait immediately, as we do see Blue Card Hype tries to get some damage down, but that is bone plating TF. You need to time these a little bit better for when you do want to go in, but it is a great push coming through already into that mid lane, and Tristana getting some... Oh, I missed the cannon, never mind. Give up the whole lane. FF, go next.
GG. No cannon. That could have put them past the 8,000 to 7.2k gold cap. It didn't because Tristana missed the cannon, and I think it's safe to say that they're just going to lose the game from here on out.
Yes, could we get a cannon counter for Titan in future in the chat? Every time we see a miss,
Every
that's a missed
cannon miss.
That's a missed cannon. That's two. That's two this game. Can we get a
Have
counter?
that and then have like how much gold is lost on it next to it.
Yeah, we should have one of those counters in chat. You can start counting it for me as well. That's two. But I think one of the most important things we do is talk about is, because it's being brought up in chat, not to disrespect TMG. I gave them so much hype going into this one, as we do see an all-in coming through from Tristana. That could be... Bone plating came up, never mind. I got excited for nothing.
The stun from Twisted Fate saved him there. He didn't even have to burn Flash, which is nice. The Flash Ghost, by the way, from Twisted Fate, I feel like that happens a lot. But do you think him having Flash Ghost and his ult is going to be able to rival the Tristana like TP Flash later into the game?
Oh yeah, because they have Spellbook, so they'll just change that up whenever they need.
Look at me not looking at runes.
Yeah, I'm so used to it, Romeo. I feel like every single time I cast with you, I'm teaching you the game as I go.
It's like education, you know? This is when Titan becomes like an education channel for like the lower elo players in chat watching, so they can like understand it more. But Ocean Drake going to be started up here. It is the first dragon on the map. Amumu top lane. This should be free over to FS.
Yeah, it's a good timing for them to take this one as well. Spotting that Amumu top, not important. We'll be able to get that. Also, the priority they got in the bot lane from that gank opens it up for them. The more important thing is, with the Drake now being taken, if they get that one nice and clean, they set themselves up for a nice early boots win, which will force the teams into getting those boots, getting those upgrades, pushing on a little bit more. But they can also move straight over. Please don't steal this. That would break my heart. Okay.
Would have been really funny, though.
One of my greatest clips is calling that a Yumi Q was going to steal Baron when it did, so I absolutely love seeing it, but I just... So this might be a bit of bias, but I hate Twisted Fate as a champion. I think it needs a proper rework.
What would you change about Twisted Fate?
I would make him an ADC at this stage.
Oh, geez, still like with attack, like the attack damage speed buff or whatnot, or would you still leave it like
I
a Ziggs?
I changed like the card selection thing is like the thing that makes TF core. It's the thing that's so important, but like his Q just feels so weak when it's such a wide cone that just isn't useful. It just doesn't do
Tristana
enough.
getting a ton of damage on the Twisted Fate right now, pushing him right back under tower. And I think Twisted Fate's having a very hard time managing his health in this lane.
Yeah, it's a resource that is, it's you have to use it to get that CS till you get up to that Rod of Ages build, which you might see coming out, or it's actually looks like a Lich Bane maybe first, or he's going to go Shurelius. He's thinking about speed and speed alone, but I think honestly I would much rather a TF where his Q, instead of currently being the 3-card spread, is just throwing the whole deck, and it just throws multiples of cards really fast, like a machine gun TF.
So like Ashe almost, like the Ashe Q.
Yeah, but it throws out like yellow, blue, red, and they all do like reduced amounts, but you're just spamming them. I just think it'd be really fun.
Get spam stunned, and every player who's against you absolutely hates their life.
Yeah, I just think it'd be fun. I think it would just be...
It would be fun for the Twisted Fate. I don't know if it'd be fun for anyone else.
I don't know. I just feel like he just needs a little bit of a change. Something to make him
Speaking of
new,
fun, though,
but his
Aatrox going to be going in. It's a 3v2 right now for TMG with the Twisted Fate coming in, and it's going to be a decisive victory. It's looking like Asante trying to run away. The stun going to come out. He has to burn his flash. Meanwhile, on the top, Pantheon going to be forced to burn their flash as well, and it's a lot of resources expended from both sides. A Mumu flash down, Aatrox flash going to go down, and now here comes the reinforcements. Karma going to be coming up from the bottom side with Tristana, and it looks like TMG is going to be wanting to head away from this battle. However, Door is here. The Milio going to be able to find the stun. Another stun going to come out to that with the bandit shots, and it is going to be Cassandra who goes down as Metaship picks up the first kill for TMG, and it looks like Grubs is going to follow with that unless Karma is able to get a steal.
Yeah, but there is also a Pantheon ult just revving up in the back. I can see him coming for this one as it will be the first Grub will be gone. They're aiming for 2 now to set themselves up.
Here's Tristana jumping in. There's the Pantheon ult going to go through. Metaship's going to try to run away. Lot of damage coming out. The Tristana explode is going to take him down. Blue card hype going to be the next to fall, followed by Aatrox. It's 2 for 1 right now for FS. It was 2 Grubs claim still. Stone Cold going to be trying to get away. Milio going to be able to get enough damage up, and they're going to look for not important. The stun going to come out. Not important. Shield keeps him alive. Karma keeping him alive as well. Is he going to get out of this? It is so close. There's a sliver of health left. Fortress still going to be looking for the kill. Is he going to be able to get a goal? No, he is not. 1 Grub still remaining as well.
Yeah, but that's all they need to get that point into their objective tally towards that feat. But they did lose out. FS have picked up that feat of warfare, so they will be 1 step closer to this one. But that was a very messy fight that continued to just go and go and go. Tristana even running out of mana throughout down blue card hype, just missing out on getting maybe out of that fight with an extra jump. But this does feel like a game that's kind of reminiscent of game 1 where it's just getting a little bit messy. And you know what? A little bit silly isn't a bad thing either. Toki talked about if the game gets silly, just get sillier with it. And I'm starting to feel that one from this one.
Speaking of silly, here's going to come the smite. It is the 3rd Grub claimed by Metaship. Tristana coming up. It's not going to allow Metaship to fight yet. Stone Cold there as well. It's a 3v3 once again, and it looks like both teams are going to pull out of this one really fast.
Yeah, like this. Top lane just went in a stage where Aatrox ulted, was trying to fight and tried to join the fight and then had to leave completely because no one else wanted to follow. So that got really messy in the top. So Aatrox going to be under a little bit of pressure now without that ult available in this Cassante matchup. But this bot side has been fairly quiet since all this has happened. Lien and Outplayed is having a good time farming, but they're finally starting to trade a little bit. But by trade a little bit, I mean they're going to hit each other and then go back to just farming because no one cares about this lane, let's be honest.
Wyatt for sure, but Ziggs has a little bit of... He's got his plate up. He's got about 10 CS over. This wave's going to make it about that. So it is definitely still a little bit of the lead going on Lien. And with the damage he's done to Lucian, I wonder if that's going to affect a potential dragon fight coming up here in a few, like 30 seconds, maybe?
It could, but resets should come true fairly quickly now for the bot side, at least, of TMG. And from what we saw before when it came to both of these sides, they don't like giving up Drakes, and everyone seems to move for him. We can already see Aatrox in that mid lane TP there to help cover. Is also going to head down towards this. We also see Stone Cold is down here. The shattering glass can be heard a mile away as they appear. And look, it's the
Drake is started. It's a Hextech Drake too. It's a nice Drake to have. Metaship looking for any angle. He might just go for the steal. I don't think his team's going to be here in time. It looks like they're just going to push that mid wave. That Dragon's going to go for free to FS after all that talk about how they like to fight for it. Aatrox moving to mid just for a fight to not happen has to feel pretty bad.
Yeah, now also this is a stage where it's into 5 minutes of doom. It's the LS phrase. I think it's about 3 minutes, but not much should happen there for the next 3 minutes. Everything should go fairly quiet as it will just be light trading, no real looks.
Oh, Mumu though coming up. Aatrox has the ult going off. There's going to be the Cassante ult as well. Metaship going to come in. The bandit shot's going to land. There's the stun. The W coming out from Aatrox, and it's a immediate kill. The 3 minutes of doom has not started. Maybe it'll start just now. However, all the kills going over to a Mumu for TMG. I don't think that's the ideal situation. Stone Cold Incel being chased down right now by Blue Card Hype. It is Flayed who's going to come in as well to deal some damage, push Blue Card Hype away from their jungle.
Yeah, Cone getting that nice kill up in the top side. Aatrox now 1-1 and 2 with the Spirit Shojin complete, and I love how we're starting to see fighters actually build fighter items again. Not just Sundering Sky every time. Oral's
That's
fine.
gonna be a
Oral's
ton of
a monster.
damage, though. Oh my god, the Lucian ult going to do... He might not be a monster very long. Elfblade gonna find the Oral kill while Pantheon dives under tower. It's a trade. A Stone Cold Incel falls from not important. A 1-for-1 trade, but Karma not lasting very long. They were just kind of out of position there. Outplayed in Fortress, though, going to come into the bot side. Get some more damage, not important. Look at the damage coming up from Lucian. It's quite a bit. Not going to be able to find the kill, but definitely a nice little damage check.
What am I watching? What is going on? Like, Pantheon was right beside the Karma. Could have just stepped in, tanked some of that for them, and went, I'm heading bot, don't worry about it, and just yeeted themselves straight down, get themselves a kill, but Oral is being left to die there by not important, choosing that their support was not important in that moment, but you do see trade backs all over. 4-4, 2 Drakes versus 3 Grubs. It's going to be a tough one to call at this stage to see who really is taking the lead, but I think there's a much more comfortable position when you have a Ziggs. Those towers will start to fall. You will be able to move around the map, use those satchels. Still just Aatrox though.
And Inferno Soul, though. The 2 dragons, it's an Ocean and a Hextech, which is fairly nice, but the Inferno Soul, if they can claim 4, is a very nice soul to have, especially when you prioritizing dragons. It's not like it's going to be like a little cloud soul, even though that it's super fun. It's going to be that huge damage boost. And with characters like Ziggs, with characters like Tristana, that burst is going to be huge.
Yeah, the burst will be huge. That first initial hit will be quite nice as well, especially when they're trying to get that burst down, especially if it comes off of like a Pantheon Q with full charges. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting game to see how it develops from this point on, because I don't think any team's going to want to give up an inch as Outplayed.
A huge fight from Outplayed. Outplayed going to go right back in. Here comes Oral as well. The calling going to go off. Not going to find anyone with it. However, Amumu's waiting in those wings. Tristana looking to step up here. Pantheon going to find her. The bandage shots going out. Are we going to see a Curse the Sad Mummy as well? Another bandage shot. Not important, might be screwed here. He's going to go down as a Mega Inferno Bomb comes through. Does a little bit of damage to Outplayed, enough for him to walk away. As Cassandra's going to come through now. It's a huge 4v4 happening in the mid lane. Tristana looking for the jump. Oral losing a ton of health. Leanne losing a ton of health. Aatrox taking everything. Outplayed finds Oral. There's going to be the stun out from Stone Cold Incel. He's going to find Blue Card Hype. And it's a huge advantage from TMG as they get a significant amount of gold in their pockets. Can they find one more? They can. Aatrox going to pick up JDR.
This is what I was saying last game. TMG, they'll find a moment, they'll take everything they can with it. And Outplayed, I spoke about you playing Lucian, just play a bully, win the lane. And whoever in TMG is watching previous game and talking to the team, whatever coach is in the chat, you need to pay me. I'm showing you how to win. I'm telling you, I'm giving it out for free here. Well, I got paid by Titan, but I need more, okay? I need more. Lucian working out perfectly. Outplayed is playing so much better off of this lethality virus, straight onto a bully the life out of them, and I just want to see more of it. I want to see more of this from TMG. I know what kind of team you are. I know you like to scrap. I know you like to fight. Moments are where you make yourselves, and that's the team we love to watch. So please, more of this. Just maybe not Shirelli's TF, because I gotta hate that. Gotta hate it.
Yeah, I feel like almost any of the
it
two
worked
items you
really
mentioned
well.
earlier.
Beating up the team, that was great. Still don't like it. I like my damage mitts.
Red team going to take the first turret of the match. It's only about a 1.5k gold difference right now between TMG and FS, which is still not huge. And with third dragon coming up, if they're able to get this Infernal Dragon, I still think there could be a lot in the favor of FS for a comeback.
Yeah, there's always that comeback available. Flash Syndicates have been monstrous in team fights and they've been very, very good. But the issue is now they have that scaling Ziggs that needs a little bit more time to get going. They also have that Pantheon it needs to get to that second, third item to really become the monster. We're going to use that Rift Herald here, crack open
Huge
the mid lane.
crash.
Great work there, but they've set themselves up now to move towards this Drake. They're going to lose that top tower.
They might
Daniel
lose
will
mid.
be
It
able
might
to
be a
take
mid
that.
trade for Dragon as well, and it'd be the 3 towers down from Flash Syndicate. It does look like they're going to be targeting. They're calling out to go for T2 top lane, actually. They're going to look for a decent-sized gold shift if they can get to that T2 turret and take it down with Ziggs, which it looks like they might be able to. TMG's rotating from that Dragon. They're going to get that T2 turret.
Yeah, they're only very, very late for this one. I don't think that Cole needed to be down there for the Drake, but maybe it's better that he wasn't there. So so he doesn't get hit, but they're pushing onto this mid lane. They're going to expend the TP. They're going to try and go all in onto this Aatrox, but World Ender procced, speed activated, and gone. As Judania going to try and get that knockback onto Outfly. Won't land it, as they're also going to lose this bot tower. It feels like objectives are just being taken everywhere here, Romeo. Everything's being taken.
It's like it's slow for 30 seconds and then fast for a minute and a half with this one. Where like most games you have that quiet period. They really don't leave long gaps. It's like these bursts of either 3 kills or a couple of objectives and whatnot. They're very bursty with how much is being taken off the map.
A little bit off. Yeah, I'm trying to break this down into like simpler terms in my head of like what Flash Syndicates need to do to break back into this one. But taking the tier 2 top, that's fine. That's a nice little play.
The mid turret
Tristana around.
I think the mid turret is the first thing that needs to go for them to get back in right now.
Maybe so, but also not allowing Oral to be caught here might be very good, as they will expend the Ziggs ult as well to try and get people off of this one. They will get a stun onto Outflayed, but cleanse used by the Milio, so ult for 2 ults there used in what might have been a bad timing to go for it. But what I'm thinking is, like, mid tower, yes, it's important to take down mid towers, opens up maps, etc. But if you have good enough vision control, mid tower isn't as important as it used to be. It used to be this like locked in mid tower is the most important outer objective to get. But if you can still connect your mid to side lanes just through better warding and understanding of where people are, it's not as important as people think. That's an LS hype train that went way too far. It's just one of those things. He'd swear LS would rather take mid tower than a Nexus the way he talks about it. But if you can connect your lanes well enough with vision and have good enough understanding, like right now Tristana knows when TF is going to leave. There's that ward is there for the ult kind of charge, and now they're moving towards this top side. They're not connecting this one too well. They're missing some of that vision in that upper side river, but Tristana very comfortable in the spot side with TP just about to come up. Akatan is looking like a possibility here for both teams, so they still connected well enough on this map to buy themselves time, and everything is working out fine for them. They don't really need to force for this mid tower right now.
Yeah, both teams though were lining up for that Atacon. That mid turret, strong up. Tristana versus Aatrox in the bot lane. You were saying they feel very comfortable, but I feel like that is still a matchup where if Aatrox can find a nice W, there is definitely that chance of just being able to wipe Tristana and give his team that huge advantage, particularly with how strong he is at the moment. Also, do we think we're going to start seeing T3 boots come out soon from Flash Syndicate?
They usually see around 4 items. Some people have been opting into after 3, but usually around 4 items now is the time instead of when it used to be 5. But
immediate.
Not really. That was very early at the start when they were absolutely broken. They got heavily nerfed, even though they weren't that strong before. But now with the new changes, they're a little bit earlier. But it is just that extra buff you kind of get just for having the feats is just nice as it is. So yeah, I'm just looking now. It's like they're clearing out the vision. They want to set up for the Sadakan. Still a ward on it, meta shift.
Yeah, I don't think they see it, because I'm pretty sure the Oracle swiped from the bush and just didn't catch that one. Blue turret going to go down in the mid lane. They do finally get that T1 mid turret. Outflayed, pushing under, but JDF not taking any damage. And it looks like we're seeing Ziggs and Stone Cold Incel. There was the ultimate coming out from Pantheon, which is going to be down now for a little while. Stone Cold going to be back in the base. Dragon up in 50 seconds. Oh, there it is. There's the burst I was talking about. Aatrox going to take down Blue Card Hype. They are going to be up in time for Dragon, but this definitely gives the chance for TMG to put some more pressure towards that Atacon on the top side. They have that TP available if they want to go for something.
Yeah, I did. I was looking and I was like, Tristana just jumped in on the bot side on the minimap, and then I looked.
The calling going to be used. Oral losing all their health, but not important, going to come from behind. There's the Mega Inferno Bomb coming as well. Outplayed, taking a ton of damage. Kasatna trying to move forward. Stone Cold Intel able to get their meta shift there as well. He's going to go in. There's the Curse of the Sad Body. Oral's going to fall. Kasante's going to fall. Not important. Going to be next, maybe? Is it going to happen? Yes. Oh, flash over the wall. Going to delay it a little bit longer, but I think there's really no chance of him getting out of this. He's just delaying the inevitable. Top T1 turret going to fall as TDG taking a huge victory in that fight in the top lane. They're going to be able to get Atacon, and they might even have a chance to move towards that Inferno Drag.
I don't know what meta shift is built on, but it feels like steroids, Russian base, and testosterone. Because it's just a mental player, just absolutely exceptional work coming through from Metashift through all of the games. Wins or losses, Metashift always seems to be doing something to get them back into the game. And that Amumu ult was absolutely crazy, but perfectly timed to set them up to wipe FS off of the map. But now they are sprinting towards this Drake. They're trying to try and four-man this, and Pantheon has no ult. There's no skies to send. There's no way to get to this, and yeah, this could be a risky one.
It is a fight they're probably going to want to take. They do out-damage it quite a bit, but are they even going to get there in time? 2,000 HP left on the Dragon. It is going to go over Flash Syndicate. No more reason to fight. And I think Flash Syndicate right now, to get back into this, that Inferno Soul has to be a big part of it.
I think Infernal Soul will help them stabilize the game. I think they're going to need Elder to win the game. I think they need to bring it all the way to there. But right now it's on TMG. They have the tempo in terms of pushing onto towers. They have the grubs. They should be looking to break these down, start fights, bring it up.
There's going to be a stun going to not important as he was trying to defend the tower. He's going to go down immediately. Metashift down to half HP, but the ults are going to start coming up soon. Cassante getting absolutely burned. I don't think he realized how quickly he was going to go down there. And immediately, TMG getting even more gold in their pockets. Almost a 5,000 gold gap.
Yeah, so they're just going to move around the map now and try to get the last of those outer towers down. They're going to take their time, unlike someone that's screaming in chat to end it. It is not endable right now. Relax just a little bit there, buddy.
It's 5v3 though!
It's not
Outplay it, gonna be peeked in the bush, blue card hype, almost taking them out immediately, but the calling gonna come through, just misses. Blue card gonna be able to stay alive, and now it's Aatrox out of position, but they're not gonna be able to find the bounty on him. He's able to sneak away just quickly. Turret gonna stay up as well. Baron Nashor now spawned on the map. The Pantheon ult gonna go through. They're gonna find Door. Are they gonna be able to get the kill on Fortress? It's looking pretty promising. Lots of damage coming through. None of his team to help him, but no, there, it's going to go through. The spear is going to find it, and there's the shutdown onto Pantheon.
Is it Baron?
They're going to look for it. Zig's going to back and TP. Cassante pulling up, Oral pulling up. It is still Lucian who is nearby, but he has very little health to walk off of. Metashift, though, eyeing something. The Curse of the Sad Mummy has just respawned up. If you can find a big ultimate, it could be a game-ending play for TMG. However, not important, trying to keep them away from the team. Aatrox going to be doing a ton of damage. Cassante pushing him away, a good Curse of the Sad Mummy not being found, and it's going to be Cassante who is going to fall, but a lot of damage done from his team to keep them alive. It was a good play from JDA to keep that Curse of the Sad Mummy away from his squad.
Yeah, really good play. And Metashift, I was expecting a little bit more there from the ult in that fight. There was lineups there available, but a forceful play from Flash Syndicate there, and all they do is lose Cassante off of that one. Buy themselves maybe a little bit of time in terms of when the Baron could be started. They've got vision control, but they now have to readjust their whole idea and structure right now, what they want to do, because all their lanes are under pressure. They need to move Tristana down to the bot. They'll need to get Cassante back on the map and safe. No TP available, so they need to be on the top side of the map. And right now, Ziggs still hasn't got that last item, still doesn't have any burn, still won't be able to get through the likes of Aatrox or through the Amumu. So that's all coming down to blue card hype to get through those, but there's already Sunfires being built. Aatrox is already a monster. Cone has been absolutely dominating so far, 4-1 and 5 on a pick that is usually bullied a lot more in these. So yeah, I still think there's a lot Flash Syndicates need to do, but there is still that Drake lingering in the background. There's still that light kind of flickering in the distance, still that little bit of hope left.
And it's 1.5 minutes till that hope sparks. I feel like if they lose this dragon, having to wait another 5 minutes is going to be pretty damning for them. So I think they really need to just do everything in their power right now to be able to get that Inferno Drake, even if it means a Baron trade, right? Like if they can keep that Baron up long enough to try and find a trade for that dragon, it would probably be pretty valuable for them.
Yeah, it would be Baron for Drake at this stage.
It's hard, but I think it's their best chance.
Globals, though, it's a little bit too risky.
Yeah.
I think there's too many TPs available.
Has such a good setup right now around that Baron. It's going to be very hard for them to walk in and try to defend it. It is started here. Cassante still trying to fix that top wave. Oral over the wall. So much vision right now from TMG. There's going to be the Mega Inferno Bomb. It's just going to help them take it even quicker. Cassandra going to be going around the back, but the team is split. 2,000 left, 1,300, and there it's going to be. It is claimed by TMG. The fight's starting to break out, but it looks like they don't want any of it. Cassandra going to be completely caught out, forced to flash over the wall. The calling is used as well as World Ender. The walk to Inferno Drake is beginning to start. Baron claimed by TMG. They're going to have great push on this mid wave. Are they going to be able to take that Inferno Drake as well?
They should have the inside track for this one. They do have everything they need. Is Daniel ready in the bush, though?
Cassante, he's going to find Outflayed, but he's not going to get anything from it. Stone Cold Incel going to be able to use that yellow card. They're chasing down Cassante a little bit here. They are down a couple of key ults, but that Curse of the Sad Mummy still up. Meta shift in the front, not important. Trying to dive on them, trying to find any track they can to get into this dragon. They do have their more ultimates right now than TMG, if that's going to come into play.
All eyes on what TMG want to do now. And Flash Syndicates, this is your play. This is your dragon. This is where you want to be. Ults available across the board. Flashes, TPs. Do you give up the Drake? Do you try force this fight? Metashift has that flash. Metashift has that Curse of the Sad Mummy, and they're very well aware of this. These are the kind of teams that will track summoners. They know Amumu is ready to dive, flash, ult, and then
Aatrox going around for the flank angle right now. There's a huge banish on the Curse of the Sad Mummy. Going to stun 3 people. Aatrox coming in as well. Oral barely alive. Blue Guard Hype forced to back away. Oral going to go down. So is Outflayed able to find the Pantheon kill. It is going to be blue team picking up that dragon. It's a 3-for-0 trade from TMG. They get the dragon, they get everything, and now it's the march down mid to victory.
That was just a decimation right there at the pit. They just ripped through them, and it's exactly as I said. They know that Amumu has flash ult, but the prediction on the other flash as well. Meta shift twice now, changing the fate of this game with that ultimate ability, and that's why Meta shift has been probably one of the most favored junglers coming through this. TMG have found themselves a diamond in that jungler, even though I think he's actually master tier, but it's a
grandmaster in the masters, if you will.
Yeah, there's something about Meta shift that is just carry potential start to finish as blue card hype. That is not how you play Tristana.
Oh, the Mega Inferno Bomb is going to find Fortress Door and do a ton of damage. Outflayed going to go down as well. It is very little back into the pockets of Flash Syndicate. Probably not enough to really get them back in the game, but they're going to take an attempt. It's going to be 3 minutes and 50 seconds till their next dragon if they can hold on, but their Nexus is 1 tower away from being exposed.
Yeah, 5 versus 3. They're going to try and force this one out. Now, the wave clear is not incredible, but TF can put some work in. And Amumu needs to kind of engage here to kind of get them off of this one, but they are going to
find the T3 turret. Inhib going to come next. They are going to find that Inhib. It's still a significant gold differential, but that is a huge opening for the map from Flash Syndicate.
Yeah, just got to be a little bit cautious here of any deep wards that might be placed. I'm trying to see if there's one available for them, but there's nothing quite available. So there was a world there where we might have seen TF and Aatrox attempt a flank onto maybe a solo target with that TF ult kind of able to pickpocket someone, but the vision control is still firmly in favor of Flash Syndicate. And look, those items are starting to get online, and Tristan is starting to get closer and closer, but still hasn't got that LDR, which is the key item you need now on ADC. Without that item, you don't do damage. If you do not have armor pen, you don't hurt anyone. That's how this game works now. So Lucian having that and almost completed their attack speed item, while Tristana just relying on pure attack speed and bomb resets, you're not going to be doing as much in that mid lane. The Shirelias still don't like it. Not going to change my mind on that one, but TF has that Morello's going to stop some of that healing coming through from the likes of Pantheon and the Sundering Sky. It's going to stop Tristana from picking them up, and Cassante just regens anyway. So some of those coming through perfect. On the other side, that Lich Bane is going to hurt. That rapid fire cannon is going to make it so much easier to get onto these key targets. So although they are missing out on maybe some better champions, there are champions working this way and working together with meta shift being as solid as they are. They're in a great position just to finish this up.
We're currently a minute away from Baron spawning, about 2 minutes away from Inferno Drake. Still potential soul for Flash Syndicate. It doesn't look like an end to this game is going to come in the next minute, but it might be over the next objective fight that determines who's able to win this game. That mid lane, both inhibs being down, I think, is a huge step up in the favor of Flash Syndicate, but it's still a 5,000 gold differential. We're seeing the Last Whisper coming onto Tristana, still not going to be the full LDR, but it's a step in the right direction.
Getting there, slowly but surely. It's just LDR is so important these days on ADCs, and blue card hype is going to be begging for every resource possible to get to that item. As right now they're hiding out in the bottom bush, they're going to recall, and they're going to pick up just a pink ward. They're still not going to be close enough to that item, so any big fights to break out, Tristana's going to have to be either onto something that has 0 armor. Also, the fact Lucian hasn't finished boots is crazy to me.
Yeah, you know, boots, why run when you can dash, you know? We are 10 seconds right now away from Baron spawning, 45 seconds from the dragon. You know TMG wants to look for this Baron and try to force a fight out before that dragon spawns.
Yeah, they want to force as much as they can in terms of summoners and ultimates. They just want to burn everything they can.
Here we go. Not important. Going to be able to find a bit of Aatrox. Forces the World Ender ult to come out immediately. He is trying to force the play into the Mega Inferno Bomb. The disengage is going to go really hard right now, though. Aatrox going to fall out of that ultimate, and this might be a good fight for Flash Syndicate. Dragon spawning in 15 seconds. They're able to find that inside track. They're going to be able to get the control on really quickly. Metashift going to look for that ult. Finds a 3-piece on the Curse of Sad Money. The call going to come out. Blue card hype immediately eliminated. Metashift going to find a stun as well. It is Lucian who is picking up everyone. It is a double kill from Lucian. Another kill from Aatrox. And Flash Syndicate now falling apart because of the Curse of the Sad Mummy. Cassante going to be the next to fall as Outplayed finds a 3-piece. And it is just Ziggs who remains standing.
Wave clear duty for Ziggs. Let's see how much of this they can get done. That Mega Inferno Bomb is coming back off a cooldown, so they should be able to clear out a good, decent chunk of this wave, as long as they don't get yellow carded by the TF. Yes, they do, is the follow-up there. Metashift is watching for it. Not quite. There's Mega Inferno Bomb. Just a cannon. Can they end with just Grubblings and a cannon? And they think they can.
Just one turret. The other turret, though, getting close to respawning. Metashift trying to get in there, take a ton of damage from the turret. They don't seem to have the health. They're going to be forced to back away. Dragon is spawned. Flash Syndicate is coming back up. TP is going down the middle wave right now. Pantheon trying to find the chase. Can they find anything? He is getting pretty quickly to annihilation, but there's going to be Fortress down. There's the resets coming from Tristana. They're going to find the Aatrox as well. It's another shutdown. Stone Cold going to be able to get out, I want to say. It's really close. He's going to be able to yellow call. He gets Mega Inferno Bomb. Ziggs gonna find the kill. Baron and Inferno Drake up for Flash Syndicate. Can they find their way back into this game, Satyr?
They're gonna end. They're gonna end it right here, right now. All eyes on Metashift. Outplayed and Metashift have the world against them in this moment. That inhib 3, 2, 1.
Oh my god.
There it is.
The inhib going to spawn. It is annihilated immediately. Only 2 turrets away from being able to find this miraculous comeback. And it is going to be a huge Sad Mummy. He finds all 5, but they have no damage there from Outplayed. He goes down immediately, but does force them away to go clean up the wave. It looks like they're going to fall back and claim the dragon as their spoils. I can't believe this match is still going, Satyr. This is insane.
He got the wave. He literally got the wave. Metashift is cracked. Metashift is just built different. He goes in, gets the wave, dies. My job here is done. Incredible work they're coming through. It's perfect. It's everything they needed. But Infernal Soul collected. Baron pings, both teams spamming as they need to get this. Metashift being down does buy a little bit more time for the side of Flash Syndicate to get there. But on the other side of things, there's still enough damage from the rest of the team to be able to get there. TP's already coming through. Everything to be expended. This is going to be the last fight unless we see a double ace.
Yeah, the odds of a double ace coming out at this stage, I don't think is super likely. Both teams gathering around the Baron. Amumu going to be the last one to get there. Can Flash Syndicate find anything? They are going to be able to take control of it immediately. They have a little bit of an advantage with the control of the map right now, but TMG still has that little bit of extra gold in their pocket. Tristana going to have the LDR for this fight. Baron getting deleted quickly. Here's going to come Twisted Fate with the ultimate to get there. Baron down to 2,000, tons of damage coming out. Oh my god! He steals it! He steals it, and they find Cassante! What a steal from TMG! And now they are going to run down Flash Syndicate. Are they going to be... It does look like it's going to be a 4-for-5, but that feels like crap if you're Flash Syndicate.
Stone Cold Steel to end game 2 in favor of TMG. More than likely is that Baron is completed, but there's still a Nexus to take. There's still a little bit more time they need to get on this map. We're going to start pushing down towards this mid lane. Stone Cold Incel is going to be resetting. They're all going to be resetting here, but that's so big in terms of just money, getting onto those last couple of items. Well, like, this is first week of Vanquisher, Romeo. First week.
If things stay like this for the entire season, we are going to have a hell of an entertaining league here in Vanquisher. This match alone has been just batshit insane. The gold gap for Flash Syndicate to still be hanging on like this, the amount of kills that are coming up, we're almost at a kill per minute at this point. This is an insane match.
Yeah, I'm really hoping someone clipped that so I can go back and watch that again, because I swear to God, if that's just a card slicing through when you have Pantheon,
I think it
Q,
was.
Smite, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to lose my mind.
Well, the Smite came early for sure from Not Important.
Oh, Meta Shift, that tower still does damage. I know you're level 17, but relax a little bit.
There's
That
the
was
fight.
a big engagement.
The Mega Inferno Bomb going to do a ton of damage. Cassante getting pieced up right now. It is going to be Metashift who isn't able to get away, and he's going to get the shutdown over to Aura. Once again, the tides have turned back for favor of Flash Syndicate. Pantheon going to go for the dive here. He is able to find Stone Cold Incel, and the gold is not going to save him for very long, as he's going to be annihilated immediately from Blue Card Hype. Can Flash Syndicate find a way to end? It is a 5v3 right now as they start marching towards mid lane. Baron buff still on Outplayed and Fortress.
Fatigue has to be setting in for these players right now, because this is a 40-minute game of back and forth from, oh my God, we've lost it, oh my God, there's a chance, to everything. Like that. It's so difficult in these positions, as Red Inhib has just popped up to say it has respawned. It's the timing we can see on the Inhib there. They have maybe 30 seconds to a minute to get this one done. It is a
Metashift about to be
moment.
Metashift about to be respawning with Curse of the Sad Mummy coming up soon, but is it going to come up soon enough? The tower, first Nexus turret going to be gone. There goes Aatrox. Cassante pushing in, he falls as well. Metashift so close to the Curse of the Sad Mummy. Both towers are down. Blue Card Hype gonna fall. Can they get the Nexus? Curse of the Sad Mummy! Curse of the Sad Mummy, there's another one! Are they gonna be able to find it? Or else find it? Not important, gonna be able to get the last hit. And Flash Syndicate barely clinching a victory over TMG.
Oh my God.
What a match! Metashift once again so close to saving it, but he's just not able. The damage is just not there.
Like, this is our first game back together, Romeo, and it's this kind of game. Oh,
I can't believe that Flash Syndicate came back from a 6,000 gold deficit, lost 2 dragons in a row on the verge of soul, and yet was able to find just enough each time to get that victory back into their favor. I can't believe the comeback we just seen.
Like, there's so many moments we could point out where that game changed, but TMG, that one's gotta suck. That's gotta suck. It was so close for him to get back into that game in so many scenarios, from Baron steals to Metashift clearing out waves, 5-mana Mumu ults, and then Blue Card Hype jumping in and dying right on the Nexus, and then Oral and Not Important being the last 2 standing. It's a crazy start to the split. Our undefeated champions from last year losing to one of our top 4 teams from last, and it's an incredible game. Incredible game.
The end, like even just down to the health bars, Oral had less than 25% HP. Not Important was like 2 auto attacks from death, and to be able to find that Nexus, to stay so calm and composed and just focus on the objective to finish out that match, that takes insane work from Flash Syndicate. But yeah, TMG undefeated last season goes down in game 1 this season.
It's like chat is going nuts right now. Like towards the end of that game, it became more of like a Jesus, I can't understand what's going on. Like, as a color caster, you can break down so much of the game, but that game just became a play-by-play montage reel. Like, you've got a show reel just from that game. Like, I can say after that Baron, they should have done this and they should have played around the tempo of that, all this. They didn't, because there was no way they could do it. The game got really, really silly, and I loved it. Like, there was points where Pantheon was ulting straight onto the back of insane fights and then just kept going. Blue card jumping through everything possible to get onto key targets. Like, the calls in that game must have been incredible to hear, or just people screaming at each other in whatever language.
Oh God, I would kill to be in any of the VCs of these players during those fights. Like, I don't even, because the other thing was the fights were so split. You would have the top laners both flanking. You have meta shift just diving in, and then you have the ADC and support fighting their own battle on the sides in most of these fights. It was said best: if the game's gonna be silly, you just have to get sillier, and that's what happened. Like, some of these plays to most people just don't make sense, but they work. And what was nice is the teams both constantly had answers for anything that was going on in this match. There was a constant answer back to every single play. It wasn't like we were seeing something happen and nothing go on despite it being weird. It was constantly like, okay, we're going to move to Baron, we're going to take the inside track here. Or there's like, Oral's going to get caught. Okay, let's catch Twisted Fate under the turret bot lane. It was just constant.
They took an inhib, died, chased, killed, Baron, Drake, inhib, died. It was like, I would love to see also the graph at the end of that game to see how up and down it was, because that was absolutely crazy. But that will be all from us. That was a 2-0 for Flash Syndicates here. So we'll be dropping you over, I believe, to the other stream. So please go check in on the second stream. We'll be rating them anyway. But thank you so much, everyone, for joining. And it's been a great start to Vanquisher. Romeo will be joining us more in the future as well.
Yes,
so
I will.
Don't ever come back, this guy. But we'll be back very, very soon. We'll see you all next Tuesday, and more games Wednesday and Thursday. See y'all then. Peace.